We're live. Hey, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
You got Coach Sewell stuff in front of you. You gonna bring him in?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Not a problem.
Oh yeah, Coach. This is a big day, Coach. This is a big day.
Man, look, we had a week off, boy, and I had a lot of things going on in my life. So I had to get some things straightened out. You know, I tell you what, that cell phone was the best thing they invented.
That's been the worst thing.
Coach, Coach, I thought you might have got put on punishment, Coach. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't get in contact with you, Coach. But I figured you was working on it, whatever it was.
Hey, losing your cell phone is punishment. Well, I didn't lose mine. Mine just went out after about 3 years having it. I dropped it too many times, Coach, and it just went out. And boy, let me tell you something. That's punishment when you live with it in your hand.
It's our connection to the world, Coach.
Yes, sir.
It's our connection to the world. There's not much we can do it without it. We gotta have it. People say we got a chip. They gonna embed a chip on us. No, they ain't got to embed a chip on us. We carry this everywhere we go. They got a chip on us right here.
Sir. Yes. Sir.
So
yes,
sometimes, you just gotta. It is what it is, Coach. You gotta make it happen.
Boy, what did we have an agenda, or we just kind of shooting it from the hip tonight before our special guests come on?
Oh yeah, Coach. We got Coach, we got a few things we can cover, Coach. We got a couple things. We can we can go over your favorite HBCU coaches. We can discuss those guys, man. But
let's do the Super Bowl a little bit. The Super Bowl.
Okay, Coach. I think that's good. Hey, let me welcome everyone to HBCU Coaches Corner. I am your co-host, Rocky Miller, along with my partner in crime, Stephen Campbell, the HBCU Unk, the historian himself, the FAMU Rattler. And for our featured host, the reason why you all tune in is none other than the coach himself, the SIAC Coach of the Year, the SWAC Coach of the Year, the SIAC champion, the SWAC champion, none other than our man, Coach Johnny Cole.
I don't know where he went to. He was on 5 minutes ago. He left the building, but I'm stuck here in the seat. But, it's a great time to get on back, Coach. And I miss this feeling being with you guys on this show. And I got a lot of calls, man. They ready to go, man. They ready to get this thing back going. And so I'm fired up and I'm ready as well.
Oh, hey. So before we get started, I always we may make this a segment some kind of way, because this man keeps his ear to the HBCU streets, right? And he lets us know everything that's moving and grooving in HBCU sports and HBCU culture. Campbell, can you let us know what's going on in the HBCU streets right now? What's moving, what's shaking, what the rumblings are?
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. See, this is the AARP section of the Off Script channel. Script been on. He came on early. Talked about some thing. Had Coach Terrell Buckley. Hopefully we'll get to talk a little bit about that Valley. But just one thing, Rocky. Today is your birthday, is it not? Are you not the double nickel?
I am the double nickel tonight.
The double nickel. See,
Coach, you 5-0.
Yeah, man, he 5'5".
You 5-0, man.
No, I'm 55, man.
55.
I'm 55.
Okay.
My favorite 55 is Derek Brooks,
Well, happy birthday there, Coach.
Yeah.
You gonna make me sing the song. I would have came out with the voice.
No. Coach, save us, Coach. I know you got a lot of talents, but you couldn't be blessed with good looks, charismatic, a great leader, and being able to sing, Coach. I don't think you got him. I don't think you 4 for 4, Coach. I don't think you 4 for 4. So don't try it out on me.
Let me know our fans know. Hey, Rocky do my taxes, and he's selling me up, boy. Boy, you got him, man. I've been with you for 5 years, Coach. But I appreciate it, though, Coach. I am good looking now. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. As a 55-year-old man, it's just good to be here on earth. And with the fact that I have the use of my mind and most of my limbs, well, I guess, let me see, have the use of my limbs and most of my mind. I'll just put it like that. I'm just happy to be here, and it's always a pleasure being here with you guys. It's the highlight of my week. We took last week off because our featured host was having some telephone communications problems, man, and so it just threw him off. But I'm glad to be here with you guys on my 55th birthday, and I can't even put into words what it means to be 55 and in good health and good spirits with great friends and a great family. That means everything to me. Well, notice I didn't say nothing about no money, but I'll be all right anyway.
Happy birthday, Coach. Happy birthday to you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
you were saying that Campbell was going to bring us up to par on what's happening in that black college realm, black college sports.
Well, Coach, I just want to sit back there, and looks like, we talk about this school often, North Carolina A&T, and hey, you know what I like? Sean Gill's supposed to be our coach. That's what the people from North Carolina A&T say. He's supposed to be our coach, but now he's their coach. But Coach, you know what he did? Which we talked about this. He has brought Sam Washington back to be an advisor. I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah. I think that is going to serve him well. And again, goes back to, once again, Coach, we talk about this all the time. We have so much talent that's on the sidelines that people are not making a call to. But again, Coach Gibbs has a relationship with Coach Washington. I think that's just an excellent opportunity for Coach Washington to come back in, help the team out, build that team. So, Coach, what do you think about Sam Washington coming back being an advisor? And also, what do you think about more coaches getting retired coaches per se, to be advisors like that?
I think it's excellent, man. One, Sam gave him opportunity to work. He found a way to give Sam a work, but not more so of that is that Coach Washington, he can come and evaluate and analyze, what direction he's going, because he's been there, he's done that. He could be a great advisor, as well as being able to watch film and see, because Sam Washington was a great defense coordinator. I know I faced him a couple times and struggled. I remember at Alabama State, he held me to 7 points.
Wow.
Lo and behold, I was playing with my backup quarterbacks because we had suspended our starter and a couple other players. But I don't take anything away from Sam Washington and what he does and what he was. When he was at Mississippi Valley under Willie Totten, that was the last winning season. Sam has been with Broadway, Coach Rob Broadway, who have won championships. So, I mean, it's iron sharpens iron, and I really believe that. And I thought it was a great move for Sean to get some maturity on the staff.
I love that.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this, Coach. Now, we know Sam, as a coach, was very successful against the blacks. Will Sam help him beat the whites? Because they're not in the blacks. They're not in a black conference anymore.
Right.
Can he help him beat the whites?
Well, I mean, he not calling the shots. He more or less addressing some of the issues, there. Maybe he can recognize, if the defense coordinators is putting the offense in a bad situation and so on with the other. And the other part, when you sitting in that seat, man, you got to have somebody that you can lean on. I've been fortunate enough to have my brother to lean on. and then my college coach as well, or coaches that you've came behind, that you can lean on, that's been in those situations. Not talking about what they heard and what they seen, is actually what they've been in and been able to make those decisions. So I don't think he's there to assist in that directly, but indirectly, I think he could definitely help him out.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I hear, about the black and white issue, which it is an issue, and most black schools don't beat PWI schools, and I'll give them all a tidbit, and maybe I need to sell some of my information, but you got to make sure that you're disciplined, coach. You got to make sure that your football team is disciplined. But, a lot of that is going out the window now because these kids are jumping and bouncing, and coaches are now afraid of putting them in their place. I always told you, I coach from the front of the line. I don't coach from the back. I feel that when I, establish, how the program is going to be, I expected my leaders to be those people. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not, I'm getting on them. I'm not getting on a kid that don't play, that don't, that is not ready to produce, because I want him to learn from the guy in the front. So if I could say, you definitely got to have your team disciplined. And some coaches, man, we do it a lot. Talent, we get seduced by talent. You know what I mean? Ooh, he can run a 4.4. Ooh, he's 6'8". Ooh, but the mother don't want to go to class. He want to fight against the stuff that you do in your program. And, sometimes you got to send them down the road, coach, to make a point.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this about the coaching hires. We all know what's been hired thus far. We all know that for the most part, Coach, we have several coaches that have NFL experience, right? But some of them have very little HBCU experience, okay?
Right.
Let me ask you this. How important do you think it is to have HBCU experience in order to be successful at an HBCU school?
Well, because you know what you're coming into. You know what I mean? You know where the bathroom is. You know that there's some other things that's not in place before you even get to the football field that you got to put in place. I get stuff from people because of my disagreement with these celebrity guys coming out to be coaches. They'll send me some about, one of them taking a picture with the mayor, or one of them taking a picture with the governor and stuff like that. And I'm trying to tell them, this is what I'm talking about. Any football program, legitimate football program, from the athletic director's office to the marketing office, should have all these things in place and ready to go no matter who they hire. So as a coach now, here I am coming in, and I don't know anything about being a head coach. I got to create all these avenues, because that's what a head coach does. The assistants coach the team per se. The head coach push the program together and make sure the program, and I always tell you, Rocky, a program will beat talent any day and any time, man, on a consistent basis. So I think it hurts them. It's already having a problem when a guy come in on the interview, and you can attest to this, Cam, when he come on the interview, or he comes in to present himself, not even necessarily on the interview. Let's say he's trying to sell something, and he has to get his projector and put this pitch up on the board, and then he's got to be able to go up and talk, right? And everybody looking at him, and he's never been in that situation. Well, that's the same thing with being a head coach. You come in the room, and sometimes you got to put something up on the board, you know what I mean, and write up 22 men and where they go and what direction they go in and everything else. If you can't do that, and the kids start seeing that you don't understand that and you don't know, then how do you first teach your kids, let alone correcting coaches? So if I can't correct you, then what am I saying? And I keep telling y'all guys, this is an egotistical business. It's some assistant coaches, man, or it's just people, period, because it's a people business. Don't like somebody telling me something and you don't know yourself. And then, in the game tight or you fool around. I'll give y'all a story. We're in the championship game. Me and my brother in the championship game. We play at Murray State. It's 4th down. We on our 20. We down, coach. We down. 19-7, something like that. And it's 4th down and 1. And I'm telling my brother, let's go for it. All right. This is my brother now. Y'all know I love my brother. All right. Well, it came down from the top, the defense coordinator say, no, coach, let's kick it. And I'm saying, no, I'm telling y'all, because, coach, we average 38 points a game, all right? So I'm telling them, no. So the offensive line was telling me.
You had a play. You had a play, huh, coach?
Coach, I didn't know only play. We called timeout. The offense knew what play it was. We going to run power, all right? And coach, my brother said, no, this is my team. I said, what? Coach, I went 10K crazy. I threw my playbook off. My bands went off. We called timeout. I heard that my mother in the stands said, "Look at that Johnny, he's showing out again." And then one coach, named Willie Jones, who was a mentor, LC's mentor, was on our staff. He came down and, man, gather your stuff. Get your stuff, man. And then my brother came back and put his arm. Well, what we gonna call? I said, coach, we gonna call power. It ain't no tomorrow. And man, we ended up calling power. Not only did we get the first down, we went on and got a touchdown. But some people can't recover from an incident like that. You see what I'm saying? I give you a couple incidents where, I actually bumped chests with coaches and fired them till we got back to the school. You know what I mean? My defensive coordinator, Mississippi Valley. We play in Mississippi Valley State. We had some kids that did some things wrong the night before. And I'm like, hey, with a kid, our starting linebacker, no, he's not going to play. And he was with one of the trainers. She not going to train. All right? So I'm sitting on the bus, and they in there taping him up. And I said, look, he ain't going to play. My defense coordinator felt like that was bull crap because we're on the run to win the SWAC conference. And I said, bullshit, he ain't playing. And so I went on the field. He calls a meeting with his defensive staff. And I'm like, well, it's time to stretch. Damn it, I done made the decision. It's time to stretch. Defense staff come on the field. We meet at the 50-yard line, Bishop, and we bump chests. And a lot of underlining things were said up underneath that, But at the end, I said, this is my team. You know what I'm saying? This is my team, and damn it, what I say, go. I actually had to get the cops to put him off the field, coach. And the cop was hesitant. He felt like, because he loved both of us. And I said, look, do I need to call the president? Because I will. And coach, he ended up going to the stands. We win 30-0, coach. We still on our way, man. We come back. The kids was feeling bad. I'm feeling bad. I know he was feeling bad. But I wasn't going to let him back. But when I seen those kids, man, they want to play for him. And I swallowed my pride, and we went on, of course, to win the SWAC. But some people can't recover from them incidents. You know what I'm saying? It's an egotistical business, man. And if you don't know, and I know you don't know, that's a hard pill to swallow, coach. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Coach, it sounds like sometimes coaches not only have to coach players hard, you have to coach other coaches hard to get the best out of them.
But that's the head coaching job. And we talk. I told you guys about another coach I had talked to this season, who had came to me and confided in me about, his coaches are playing the wrong people. And I'm saying, coach, either they gonna get you far, or you need to fire them. You know what I mean? You are the head coach. You the one got to make the final decision. I heard Deshaun's talk about he's gonna hire some older coaches and they gonna coach the team. It's going to come a time when you're going to have to put your big draws on and be a head coach and make a decision.
All right, Coach. Our featured guest has arrived, and whenever he's ready, just give us a thumbs up.
Coach Campbell going to introduce him, but I want to tell you how I met him as a young coach. Okay. He was coaching at Prairie View, and the day before we had the banquet, the Labor Day Classic banquet, and I was just saying, how can they win? They bringing all these people from DC area and everything. Boy, they took it personal, Coach. They took it personal, man. We was kind of at the half on the football field, boy. Them young coaches, boy, they were ready to jump on me, Coach. But I kind of got away from them, and then end up, down the line, we ran into each other at a coaching convention, and I started talking to them, and they understood where I was coming from, man. And I like cocky guys, and I think it's an asset. I think a guy with confidence is an asset in this game we call football, this game we call athletics. And I love this guy, and I love him from afar. He don't know that, but I'm gonna let Coach Campbell bring him in and give some of his background.
Well, we are happy to have, because this is HBCU Coaches Corner, because guess what? We have actual coaches here. So we are proud to have. And you know what? I'm going to ask him, because I've heard this first name pronounced Antone Sewell, but he is the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator of those Morgan State Bears. And a proud alumnus of Bowie State University. So we have got Coach Sewell here, and he's going to tell us why they're going to win the MEAC this year.
Well, they come out with fire on you, don't they, Coach?
Listen, as I was riding home, I had to tell myself, I said, okay, I'm going on Johnny Cole's show, so I know somebody gonna try to bait me into saying something, and I got to maintain my composure, similar to like I was able to hear the story you told, as I told you when you and I finally talked about it, man. Me at the time, I'm 20-something. I got dreads down to my shoulders, and I don't even say East Coast, because I know everybody from Texas consider us East Coast guys, but at the time we called it DC metro area. Now it's called DMV. We don't consider ourselves East Coast. East Coast is New York and Philly and all those kind of guys. We are a region within ourselves. And as I told Coach Cole, man, I just wasn't. As I did my research, I kind of found out that's kind of just how things go in the SWAC. Guys talk trash and sling mud at each other, and then go out and have a drink later on that day. And and wives and kids hang out. I wasn't necessarily used to that, so I'm like, man, hold up, who is this dude coming in here talking crazy to us? Like we're not going like that. Hold on, it's gonna probably be a couple guest appearances by my 7-year-old as well. It seems like he always has.
Hey, we got a kid-friendly show, Coach, so it's all right.
He always has every issue in the world. Anytime I get on Zoom, I put both your pencils inside your red notebook. So we just coming home from basketball
practice. Shout out for fatherhood. Shout out to fatherhood, man.
No doubt.
That's dope.
Listen, gotta wear multiple hats. But again, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Anytime I get an opportunity to speak about my program and and my coaches and a little bit about myself, I think it's a blessing and one that I cherish, because I think part of kind of what we have going on right now, I think it's important that we do a good job as coaches, especially HBCU coaches, are trying to market ourselves and kind of what we do, because I do think that it has been kind of undervalued and overlooked in some aspects recently.
Hey, Coach Sewell, my name is Rocky, man, and I'm a huge HBCU fan. But the first thing I got to ask you is, you guys won a championship at Bowie State a couple years ago.
Three of them in a row.
Yeah, but only one of them.
Okay.
Coach Cavill, Dr. Cavill commissioned me to send y'all some cigars as a gift over to Bowie State. I sent it over to Bowie State, and I don't know if y'all got them or not, because shortly after y'all won the championship, y'all moved to Morgan. So I don't even know if you and Coach Wilson ever received those bundle of cigars. Hopefully some gentlemen over there enjoyed them at some point, but I was just wondering, did they ever make it to their destination.
You know what? Me knowing Coach Wilson as good as I do, he probably received them, and then when I left to go to Alabama State, he probably didn't give me mine as a punishment or something. So I'm gonna make sure I ask him about that first thing in the morning at our staff meeting, because I do remember, and as you said, I do remember Dr. Cavill telling me that he was sending us some stuff over.
Yeah, we sent it
but
over.
I do not remember getting my cigar. So when I speak with Coach Wilson, tomorrow is payday. So once I make sure my direct deposit hit, I'm gonna go talk to him.
Ask him about those cigars, man. Hey, it was from my company, Slow Burn. So
okay.
So check it out. But no, I wanted to ask you that question. Being that you guys have won championships before, right? And y'all are in year 2 of your program, what does your progress look like? Because, Coach, I picked you guys to finish second this year, right? I like what you guys did at Bowie. I thought y'all had a very promising first year. And the second year, I didn't see the movement that I thought I would see in year 2. But tell me where you think you guys are in your program moving forward.
We're actually going into year 4, and I agree with you. I agree with you, from the standpoint of, I think that we expected a little bit more progress going into last year. Now we did win the most games that Morgan has won in the past 10 years last year. I think our biggest thing is just we've struggled a little bit with consistency. And I know one of the things that we talk about a lot is moving away from expectations and just talking more about the standard. Because when you have a standard, that doesn't change. It doesn't matter who's in. It doesn't matter, what coaches are there. It doesn't matter what goes on around you. When you set a standard, everything that you do is with that standard in mind. When you talk about expectations can vary and change based on many different factors. But your standard is your standard. You don't allow anything to get you away from that standard. And I think that once we get some consistency in terms of maintaining our standard in everything we do on and off the field as coaches and players, we will see, what we know we have the ability to do. You'll be able to see it really comes to fruition from a consistent standpoint. If you just look at our results from a schedule, from a game standpoint over the past few years, you can really see the inconsistency, within our program. When you look at, we've had some really, really big wins and some close losses to some really, really good teams. And then we've had some games where, you look at the scoring, like almost like did Morgan even show up, to the game today, based on the outcome of the game. And, some of that, like I said, I'm the type of guy where I'm going to always look at myself first. As a coach, anything that goes on with us defensively, I'm going to always look at myself. And I just saw, someone, guy, and I do appreciate people recognizing kind of some of the things that we've done defensively. But I also look at it like, if we win a game 2-0 or 3-0, that's a win. If we lose a game, I'm going to look at myself first and look at what we did first. We're not into finger pointing or blame placing or trying to turn the offense versus the defense or defense versus special teams and those type of things. At the end of the day, the record says Morgan State University. So whatever that record is, we take the losses just like we celebrate the wins together. We accept the defeats together as well. So just trying to be consistent. One of the unique things that Coach Wilson did, and I commend him for this, because the thing that I can say about him is obviously he understands that we have to adapt to the different changes and the climate in college football, but he's not veering off of his purpose and the reason why he coaches the game. So when we came in, we got hired in June. And coming in June, obviously, you're scrambling to try to put a roster together and those kind of things. But even after that first season, he was adamant about not just throwing away all the players that were here with the previous regime. A lot of those guys were really close to graduating, maybe a semester or 2 away from graduating. And he was adamant that, hey, we're going to keep these kids and we're going to make the most that we can out of these kids, because it's not those kids' fault that the coach left, in the middle of a semester. And, now you got guys that are scrambling, trying to find a way to get their degree, which is why they came to school for, so he told us, hey, listen, you're going to have to work with who we have here. We're going to make the most out of these guys and, try to get what we can out of them. And like I said, to those kids' credit, man, a lot of those kids bought in, not all of them, just being completely honest. But enough of them bought in for us to be able to salvage, something out of that season and have and put together a competitive roster the following season. But I will say that, this year, this team is going to probably be the team that looks the most like what we want our program to look like from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, from a emotional, spiritual, like any factors that contribute to the success of a program. I think that this year's team is going to be really, really, really what you can expect from us moving forward from a program standpoint.
Yeah. How many guys you returning on defense?
We lost our entire secondary.
Oh, wow.
We lost Elijah Williams, who was defensive player of the year for the MEAC.
Wow.
So we probably, for our starters, like I said, we have no starters returning in the secondary. We have 2 starting D linemen and 2 starting linebackers. 1 full-time starter and then 1 guy in Eric Hunter, who probably would have been one of the top linebackers in all of FCS this year. He actually had a shoulder surgery in the off season that kept him out most of the year. And by the time he got healthy, we just decided like we weren't going to waste his senior year on just a 5-game schedule. So he actually played for us in the last 2 games of the season. Still kind of spot played in the Delaware State game. I'm sorry, in the South Carolina State game, and then played probably about 30 or 40 plays for us in that Howard game. So he'll be a guy that'll come back and lead our defense. But I mean, when you look at our numbers, secondary wise last year, I'm going to miss some of those guys being around, but it gives us an opportunity to really have a fresh start at that position. And I think with the guys that we've brought in and a couple of guys that were backups last year stepping up to some larger roles, I think we'll be much better in that area as well.
Yeah. Coach Sewell, I'm gonna pivot a little bit, and one of the reasons why I started this show and talk with Rocky and of course the Bishop is to I think you're a fine guy. I think you're a guy that I think look down the line and have worked your way up, and hopefully one day your name will be called. Put on your let's look outward look of Coach Antone Sewell, you as a head coach. What in the first 30 days, if you had that spot, what would be important to you in the first 30 to 60 days?
This is obviously, I know a question that comes up a lot in coaching interviews, and I've been advised to answer that question a certain way by different people. But for me, I think the most important thing, man, I think the business that we're in is still about the players. It's still about the kids. I think one of the very first things that I would do in any head coaching position is try to get in front of the team. Try to get in front of the team. Try to start to build a relationship with those guys. Try to get to know those guys. Give those guys an opportunity to to get to know me. Obviously, you've got to integrate yourself with the alumni and the administration and the stakeholders on campus. And different donors and those kind of things. But I think sometimes we turn it into so much of a business. And like I tell people all the time, man, I don't, some people want to call me, different, or throw different compliments at me when it comes to, my ability when it comes to my ability to coach defense. But I think my biggest asset is my ability to coach people. So I think getting to know the team and obviously putting together a great staff and giving the guys who are there an opportunity to speak with me as well, because I think sometimes when people come in, you have your mindset on the guys you want to bring in and those kind of things. But I think it's important to recognize that, you know, when the coach leaves, there are always a few coaches out there hang around and kind of keep everything together, and you know, maintain a relationship with the student athletes and those kind of things. And you know, I think that it's important that you know, sit down and have a conversation with those guys as well, even if you plan on moving on from them, just to kind of, you know, let them know what your reason is, or you know, maybe hear them out. We're in a situation now, I know defensively, where coming into Morgan, we kept my cornerbacks coach Omar Smith. He was a guy who really held everything together during the transition from when Coach Wheatley left and when Coach Wilson took over. He's been a tremendous asset for us. You know, he was a guy that really bridged the gap between us and those players that were left over. He's also done a great job of, you know, kind of connecting us with the different people on campus that we need to get things done as far as meeting rooms and, you know, scheduling and those kind of things. So again, just try to get in and hit the ground running in terms of just getting to know the people that are going to be important for me to have success where I'm going.
Right. Coach, you know, you've been to several different places and also been a champion. What is your philosophy, you know, on being in a head coaching position, and you know, what's your philosophy on the game?
Well, again, obviously, I have not been a head coach, and I one of the things that I've learned from being around different coaches is sometimes things change as you get into it. You know, when you really get into a situation and assess things, you know, you kind of learn what's important and what's necessary at those times. Hold on, guys. Give me one second.
Go ahead. No, you fine. Go ahead. Take care, little.
No,
little man
take
in
care.
the screen, Coach. Can we see little man? What's up,
there
little
you
man?
go. What up, my man?
You got a great father, man. You lucky.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got some vocabulary words going on right here.
See, the learning never stops, huh, Coach?
Never ever. Listen, it's constant. And the great thing about it, you know, just kind of talking about my situation here specifically at Morgan is, he's able to come around and be a part of what we have going on. You know, just this past weekend we had a recruiting visit, and I stepped out to go and take one of the young men in their family to meet with Coach Wilson, and I come back and I'm kind of scrambling like, oh my goodness, where's my son? And I look up, and some of the players, when they came into the gym and saw he was there, you know, they grabbed him and took him to the section with them. Like he's like all of their little brother.
Yeah. See, hey, he the next. So what you keep him around, you be like the Schottenheimers. What, they just hard to sell Dallas Cowboys.
Let's starting on.
But you know, we keep giving our jobs away to folks don't even come to our school. But we gonna get to that later. You know, we gonna get to that later.
I'm sorry. So we were talking about as far as philosophies.
Yeah.
Like I said, my thing is, so we have a saying that we say defensively here at Morgan, and to use the acronym HEART. We talk about humility, effort, accountability, respect and toughness. So my general philosophy when it comes to the game is we want to master the things that require no talent. We all know that there's always going to be somebody bigger than you, faster than you, stronger than you, smarter than you, whatever the case may be. Somebody's going to have the upper hand of you in some area in the game. You know, everybody has scholarships, and everybody is doing a great job of combing through the entire nation, sometimes the world. Now we got international players in our game to find the absolute best talent. So to me, what can separate us from those teams or put us above those teams is we've got to be really, really good at at those intangible things. You know, those little things that when talent is even, or you're facing a team that may be more talented than you, it allows you to still tip the scales in your favor. And so what I do all the time is I just try to get guys to just recognize, hey, you may not always be able to have the upper hand in certain areas, but if you do these things consistently on and off the field, we're going to always give ourselves a shot in the end. Also, I'm trying to teach life through the game of football. I happened to come on and hear Coach Cole telling a story about, one of your star players having an incident and, you having to sit that guy down. I'll never forget. It's something I learned in high school where, my coaches, they were very, very firm when it came to discipline. It was a situation where, hey, you make a mistake, there's going to be consequences for it. So, I'm big on, I think probably my biggest two pillars out of the things we talked about are accountability and respect. I tell people all the time, man, like respect to take you places even money can't sometimes. I've been blessed and had the opportunity to, to take my son to some different professional football and basketball games. And a lot of it has just been me picking up the phone and making a call like, hey, I see you guys are playing, this team in town this week. Is it possible, to get me a couple of tickets? And because of the relationships that I've built and the things that I've done, for people and with some people along the way, it's like, hey, whatever you need, I got you. So I try to teach our young men that you never know what bridges you have to cross. So you should be respectful, and every room you step into, somebody should have something positive to say about you, because that way, if you need those people, you're going to need some of those people again in life to get where you're trying to go. So it's important that you maintain those relationships and have a good reputation and uphold your family's name. Yeah. And when you talk about accountability, man, I think that, to me, everything that I am and everything that I've become as a father, friend, coach, mentor, any role that I play in life, I've learned the principles and the tools to be successful in those roles through football. I can remember, we talk about, during my time at Prairie View, I was the youngest full-time coach on the staff, the only one who wasn't married, at the time, or either married or didn't have a family at the time. And I can remember sitting back and watching these guys, and how they were with their families, how they were with their kids, and how they were able to balance. I can remember times of having guys say, hey, look, I need you to run this meeting because I got to get to my son's football game. Or hey, I'm in the morning, I'm gonna be in a few minutes late because I got to drop my kid off at school, and those kind of things. And that was nothing like what I heard coaching was like. But the fact that we had success and I watched how those guys did it, that's the template now that I use in terms of being balanced and being a father and being a coach. And I just try to get my guys to understand that. One of the reasons why I bring my son around all the time, outside of the fact that his mom is a basketball coach, so sometimes our schedules can get a little tricky. So sometimes I have to bring him around, but I choose to bring him around also because I want those young men to see an example of what a good father looks like. I know for a lot of those guys, unfortunately, they don't have that. Some of them don't. Some of them didn't grow up with a father in the home, or don't have a father that's still playing a prominent role in their lives now. So how are they going to grow up to be good fathers and husbands if they don't see somebody doing it? So I try to bring my kid around as much as I can and allow them to see, hey, coach is here every day. Coach is showing up, getting his job done, but he isn't allowing that to cause him not to be present, in his son's life and take care of his primary responsibilities.
Yeah, I got another question, and then the audience don't know that you've coached under 2 championship coaches in Wilson as well as Henry Frazier. Not only that, you've been a part of being the only championship Prairie View has won now in maybe 50 years, 50, 60 years, and y'all came in and won the championship. What have you learned from those 2 guys? And you still with Wilson, and of course y'all won 3 at Bowie State. Now if I'm a coach, if I'm looking for a coach, which one would you describe? And I want you to talk about what you've learned from both of them. That I need a coach. I'm a perennial losing team, and when I look at your resume and I look at Prairie View, they had 8 losing seasons, didn't win a game. Of course, Bowie State, and now you're at Morgan, and really, you guys have the numbers ain't the win and loss category hadn't really showed that, but people don't want to just play y'all. They're not walking in the Morgan State now and saying, we're gonna beat Morgan by 30 no more. I think you guys have gotten a lot of respect, from winning them championships at Boyd with Coach Wilson. So you have Coach Frazier, Coach Wilson. You've turned programs around. Kind of go through that and what you've learned from those two gentlemen.
Again, just really the biggest thing that I take from both of those guys is just how they treat people, man. And when I tell you, like, it has been a joy.
Hey, but I need to make a joke. Tell Coach Henry I need him to come on the show, man.
I got you.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen. I guarantee you the entire state of Texas, the entire state of all the residents who lived in the state of Texas from 2007 to 2010 would tune in for that one. That would be a monumental show to see you guys on the same show. Listen, anybody who attended some of those press conferences would be probably pleasantly surprised at that one.
Tell him I didn't mean it, man. I forgive it.
I know.
Charge it to my head and not my heart, man.
He is probably most people who are around him now probably wouldn't believe he's the same person, man. He has changed and grown so much. All of us have, obviously, but
he's Dr. Frazier now.
Dr. Henry Frazier, yes indeed. But like I said, the biggest thing I learned from both of those guys is, man, just how to treat people. I watched and I'm sure you guys probably saw the same thing. We never had the most talented roster during our time at Prairie View. Yeah. We were probably one of the smaller teams. We weren't extremely fast. But when you talk about a guy who can sell water to a well, I mean, like, we would be in places sometime like recruiting or like alumni events, and he would be talking, and I know, and he's not lying, but when you talk about selling the dream and some of the stuff he's saying, I know it's far-fetched because I'm in the room. And I know I'm like that beautiful stadium they have now. He had everybody believing that we were going to get that within 6 months of the time he was talking to them. And again, I'm in here every day with him, and as he's talking, I'm listening. I'm like, damn, like, we might have a new stadium next week. Like, that's the kind of guy he is, man.
Good motivator.
Just extremely charismatic, but genuine. Like I said, even when he was, I'll say, stretching the truth a little bit, he made it so believable and was so genuine. But you always knew that he cared. You always knew that he cared. I played for him. I have no idea what made me go coach with him, because when I tell you he gave me the blues as a player, and I was a decent person. But again, just his standard and what he required of us was always, you had to be tough. And that's kind of how
sound like he's seen something in you to take you with him.
No doubt. Yeah. And he always told me that. It was just like, I think that I think the bar that he set for me was so high, because for one, we went to the same high school. Obviously, he was a lot. He was probably 10 years ahead of me, but we played for the same high school coach. So he, like you said, he knew what I had in me. So he always pushed me to make sure that that I was living up to the standard that was set, and and doing the things I was supposed to do. But
y'all teams, coach, I can say this. And I know y'all have my playbook. I already knew that, but y'all play hard. And I knew y'all had somebody on me, what play I was calling and what hand signal. I knew it. But y'all, coach, y'all had them kids playing hard. It was like we stole something from them, coach. They played hard all 3 times, Coach.
Listen, when I
all 3
tell
times
you,
y'all beat us. Even when we won the SWAC championship, y'all was the only team to beat us.
When I tell you, I'm surprised we didn't get a speeding ticket going down 290 leaving from that press conference. That was probably one of the best practices we had because he took that and that's who he was. Like almost if you watch the Michael Jordan special, The Last Dance, like how he said, like how everything that happened, he said, I took that personal. That's how Frazier was, and he was able to get that message through to our players so well. Like again, like and there would be times where he may put his own little spin on it. Hey man, Johnny Cole said we got all these guys from Maryland and Texas Southern didn't want none of the guys we got from Texas. I'm like, Coach, he ain't say that, but listen, that's what he had to say to get them guys going, and they always responded. But
I felt like the first year we wasn't ready. Y'all were gonna be. Then the second year I thought we did, but third year I said, man, I know I got a better team than him. Yeah. And Coach, y'all still came out and just outplayed us, Coach. Y'all just outplayed us, man.
Yeah, and you see now he's in, I want to say year 2 or 3 at Virginia State, and already has those guys playing in the CIAA championship and competing for a spot in the playoffs. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, he's a builder. Like I said, he's a great motivator, and him and Coach Wilson are thick as thieves, but they're night and day when it comes to coaching styles. Both of them are really, really, big on people and how you treat people, and like I said, just one of the things that we talk about is, and this all of us, those two, really everybody that comes from under that quote unquote Frazier tree, like they don't care what you know until they know that you care. So one of the things that we're big on is just really, really like wrapping our arms around our kids and showing them that we genuinely care about them, we love them. And it's and to be honest with you, it makes it hard for us in this environment because it's not like how it was in the sense of during those days, you got back from kids what you gave them. Nowadays, I mean, you can love a kid and give them everything you have, and kid has success and he's in the portal.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult to continue to because it makes you feel like, hey, did I do all this for nothing? But you realize that, there are going to be some that are going to be appreciative for what you're doing. There are going to be some that are going to, that need that, and you continue to do it, because that's just who you are. You can't be fake or phony in this business, to me, and think you're gonna have success. Definitely not on our level, because we're still, even though HBCUs are kind of getting into the NIL and the revenue sharing game a little bit, we're never going to be able to compete with some of the bigger schools when it comes to that. So we can't just look at it as straight up business. We've still got to continue to do what, in my opinion, HBCUs are designed to do, which is help young men to grow and nourish them and help them to become men and be successful and and contribute to our society. And also obviously win football games at the same time. But again, the biggest thing I learned from both of those guys is, man, like just how to maximize what everybody has within them, whether it be players, coaches, trainers, managers, those kind of things. There were times where I've watched people do things, and in my head, I'm like, oh my goodness, like coach is about to explode. And I've watched, how they approach it and almost like, like killing them with kindness.
Right.
And because of that, like I said, that to me, that's why both of them have had tremendous success. We've never had super complicated schemes and, been super innovative on offense or defense. We just go out and find people that really, really want to be, within our programs and just push them to the max.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to the guys, man. Like I said, I know you got a future, and we're gonna get into some other stuff if you got time to stay around. Coach Campbell, go ahead.
Now, Coach, I have followed you, always been impressed. But the one thing I have noticed that you are very active on social media, and that you don't have a problem having discussions with people.
For sure.
On various things. Actually, I looked and I said, wait a minute, I think me and this coach have had some discussions.
We probably have.
Yeah, we have. Because but this ain't about me and you. This ain't about me and you. But this is something I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Let me see if I can share this right here. Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Right here, Coach. Can you guys see this?
We can't see it.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's coming up now.
There you go, right there. This is our coach. Yeah, this is our coach right here, Coach. And Coach, there was a lot of talk of new coaches that were former football players that, one at Delaware State, one at Norfolk State. But Coach had to kind of let them know, he had to stick out his chest out there. He said, I'm looking forward to the competition. It's a moot point if we don't have good showings against these teams. I hope they don't assume that we're sweet because we didn't play or have long careers in the league. Now, Coach, you got a lot of burn off of that tweet now.
Man, listen.
You got a lot of burn. So now, Coach, now wait a minute. I'm gonna set this
All right,
up.
we opening up the doors.
Yeah. I got to set this up.
Go ahead. I knew it was coming. I'm ready.
Yeah, Coach, see.
Hey, and I must say it was retweeted by his favorite AD. But go ahead.
We're going to keep it moving. We're not going to go there. We're going to leave that alone. But Coach,
because that's my girl now.
Coach, like I said, we've had discussions. We good. This 2025. We need to be at peace. So
for sure.
So my thing is, Coach, you all finished third, played hard in the MEAC, but now they got people putting y'all down at fourth and fifth now, Coach. Because he knew Coach. So tell us why that you felt that you needed to respond, and also in the room behind when y'all locked those doors and y'all heard all this fanfare of Delaware State and Norfolk State teams that y'all have consistently beaten. What did you guys think about this overall and the fanfare they get, and what made you post this tweet?
First and foremost, man, if we don't know it or didn't already know it, some things came out today that that you guys, president, is trying to do, and so I say that to say I'm not here to try to knock any black man, black coach that's who has an opportunity to do what we do. Let's make that clear first and foremost. Ironically, I was actually I actually reached out to Deshaun Jackson when I first heard the news, because he and I have been going back and forth about trying to get some kids, trying to get us, trying to help us to get some kids from out there on the West Coast. So I'm happy to see I'm happy to see both of them get opportunities. But all I was saying was everybody is. Everybody, there really has been no neutral opinions when it comes to the NFL coaches getting the NFL, former NFL players getting opportunities. Like everybody opinion has either been they love it or they hate it. I don't have a true opinion on it because my opinion is biased, because I look at it like I'm a person who people speak about that quote unquote deserves, and I'm not big on using the word deserve, to be honest with you. I feel like you get what you earn, so to me, I have a 7-year-old. In his mind, he deserves certain things, and I'm trying to teach him, hey, trying to put some things in place where, hey, you're gonna earn these things. Like certain times I'm gonna give you things, but certain times you're gonna have to earn some of these things that you want. So I don't look at it like, oh, somebody took an opportunity that I deserved, and so on and so forth. All I was saying was, if you are a coach that's in my position, or a lifelong HBCU coach or a lifelong college coach, period, and you feel as though these guys are skipping the line, or they're moving the goalposts in terms of what's required to be a coach, and so on and so forth.
They are.
My thing with that is, if they come in and Delaware State and Norfolk State are 1 and 2 in the conference this year, then who's right?
Coach, I want to stop you right there, Coach. I want to stop you right there. The reason why we're experiencing this is because the coaches in 2020, 2020, 2021, and 2022 could have stopped all of this. They could have stopped it all.
That's true.
But they didn't.
True. Exactly. So that's why I was saying, like, what's the point of getting up in arms when we have the opportunity to line our teams up against these guys and show that, hey, we can coach. And that's what I plan to do. I plan on using that. I plan on using that opportunity as a platform to show, hey, guess what? Those guys are great at what they do, but I'm on this other sideline and I'm pretty good at what. That's it. You only had. Hold on for a second.
Let me step in while he fatherhood. Are you speaking of Deion Sanders again?
You talking to me?
Sanders, no, I'm talking to Rocky. Is he speaking that
during
that time Deion Sanders came in and won the championship?
You forgot down.
Yeah, Coach, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know so, Coach, it ain't like those coaches were given 21 points. It wasn't like Deion was given 21 points when the game started.
No doubt.
It ain't like he was given 14 points when the game started. All the games started 0-0.
Right. I'm gonna give you that one. I ain't gonna say no.
Wait.
But go ahead,
no
Coach.
doubt. That's real though.
Coach Sewell, listen, I'm not gonna let him. We're not talking about prime. We talking about the people in your conference because they're not Deion. Let's get back. And
let me tell you what. Two seconds.
But his point.
Coach Sewell, hold on one second. See, Coach Rocky Miller, he a PWI guy. He's a businessman.
He's a prime man.
And then we got the historian Rocky, and I'm the coach. So that's why he on here to go ahead, Coach Sewell. You got the floor.
But his point kind of ties into what I was saying. If we allow these guys to come in, and again, and it may happen. I'm looking. I got one. I got one eye pointed in the direction of them and their social media. I'm seeing what they're doing from a coaching staff standpoint and from a recruiting standpoint. I think those guys are going to field competitive teams. I don't doubt that at all. However, I look at it like, in order for me, because the thing about it is the light is now going to be shined brighter on the MEAC. So now if Antone Sewell believes that he's a good football coach and this bright defensive mind and all those kind of things, and some other people in the HBCU world may feel like that. Okay, now when you have some people that are outside of that world who are now looking in on what we're doing, now that's the opportunity for me and some of the other coaches within our conference and within the HBCU world to show, hey, they do have some pretty good coaches there.
Well, Coach, so you as on that staff, and you see this, and again, you're very outspoken on social media. Does your head coach, when you kind of...
Oh, I get calls to the principal's office all the time. You only have to finish the question. I get calls to the principal's office all the time. But the thing is, what I've learned in this profession, like, it's almost like any good friendship or relationship. You have to have balance. Coach Wilson is he's not, again, Coach, there's a reason why the Texas Southern and Prairie View rivalry was so good when Johnny Cole and Coach Frazier was there, because Johnny Cole say something, Coach Frazier gonna say something back. Yeah. Coach Wilson, he does not get caught up in all that. Like, he is very much he's an even keel, cool, calm, collected guy. I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, I am, and I'm not gonna be disrespectful to nobody, anything like that. But if you want smoke, I'm fine with that. I just have to, I make sure that everybody understands that, yes, I'm a coach at Morgan State, but I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody except for myself. And I'm not being disrespectful or rude to anybody. I'm just speaking my truth and how I feel on certain situations. And I think that, to me, that's the beauty of social media, is it allows you to tell your story and give your opinion on certain things without crossing the line. Again, if I ever do anything that I think crosses the line, or coach tells me, hey, you probably shouldn't say this, I have no problem accepting that as a man and apologizing and growing from that and moving forward. But if I feel some type of way about something, again, I don't tweak from emotions. I gather my thoughts and I share my opinion and I move forward from it. And the funny part, like the people that know me, they laugh because they know I say stuff and I move on way before other people do. Like I've tweeted stuff and I go back 3-4 days later and people are still talking about it. I'm like, bro, like we on something new at this point. Like I said what I said and I'm done with it. Because for the most part, it's, again, I don't speak from impulse or emotion. So when I say something, it's been well thought out and it's gonna be very, very hard for you to change my opinion.
But let me say this, Coach Sewell. I like what you said, Coach. I like what you said because you didn't disparage those men. You didn't even undermine or discount their abilities and your talents, right? You said it's not going to just do your work, grind, because it ain't easy. And just because you had a long career in the NFL ain't going to make Saturdays no easier for you each and every Saturday this fall. I think that's fair. Coach Cole, hold on. Let me say something, Coach Cole. Let me say one more thing. Coach Cole told me this, Coach Sewell, when I first started talking to him on the phone. He said, Rocky, only 25% of all coaches are winners. Do you agree with that, Coach Sewell?
Yeah, that's real. It's not a lot. And again, man, all right, I know I have to be careful. There aren't as many good coaches as people think there are. There are more successful coaches than they are good coaches. I'm just being real.
Look at Coach Frazier. He go from one conference, win a championship, go to another conference and win a championship, go to another school and win a championship. All them other coaches was in the CIAA, they been there. He come in there, championship.
Coach, you know I want you to break that down. Tell the people the difference between a successful coach and a good coach. We got a lot of Madden players on here that don't understand what you just said. Explain the difference, because there's a big difference what you just said.
Yeah, because to me, you can have success, and your success could be based off of, circumstance. Your success could be based off of, hey, you were like there are some people who they take jobs and they start on third base. There's some people who step into the batter's box and they already, now I ain't a great baseball guy, but it's all, I don't know if it's 2-0 or 0-2, whatever, but they have no balls and 2 strikes when they step up to the plate. And they have to find their way on base and find their way around by really, 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 getting down and dirty and grinding and building something from nothing. And again, that's not to say that that's no fault of the person who who had a head start on things, but sometimes we get caught up in and that's something that even we've had to learn coming from Bowie to here. Because of what we did at Bowie, don't mean we're gonna walk into Morgan and do everything the exact same way we did at Bowie and we're gonna have success. We've had to learn and navigate our way through a completely different environment in a new conference, at the FCS level and so on and so forth, and tweak our formulas and be flexible and listen to other listen to guys on our staff who may not have been with us at during our time at Bowie. So it to me, when you talk about a good coach, to me a good coach can work with lesser talent, less resources, maybe not an area that or maybe not be in an area that's as fertile and rich when it comes to talent, and still be able to put a product on the field. I'll never ever forget talking to a guy. It was one of our competitors during our time at Bowie, and we played Delta State in the playoffs. And He was a brother, so it wasn't like a back. I didn't take it as a backhanded comment because it wasn't, a white coach telling me something that almost was like patronizing me. It was a brother. It was one of the brothers they had on the staff, and he came to me after the game and he said, "Bro," he said, "I've been here for a while, and we've obviously faced some HBCUs during our time here, and a lot of times it has been, just kind of like, almost like backyard type football." He said, "Man," he said, "I told our coaches the very first day we watched our film," he said, "these coaches know what they're doing." And he said, one of the guys looked at me and he said, "Every play I watch, whether it's executed correctly or not, I can at least tell what you guys are trying to do. Like there's rhyme or reason with everything that you're trying to do. You're not just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing if it sticks." And to me, that's why I consider myself as a good coach, because I'm coaching from logic and using ration when I'm coaching. I'm not just coaching off emotion. It's not just like, oh my God, they got 2 first downs. Let me just blitz the whole house, knowing I don't have 4 DBs that can cover. It's not like, again, if you look at kind of our track record at Bowie, and even what we've done now at Morgan, if you look at our schedule, we are forced to play some of the top teams in FCS football every year, because the MEAC only has 5 teams, and from a proximity standpoint, the closest teams to us FCS are what? CAA teams. If you take away the conference that has North Dakota State and all those guys in it, which conference has the next most teams in the playoffs every year? The CAA. So we've got to go play Richmond and Stony Brook and Towson and Delaware and these teams every single year. So we get tested every single year. And even though we have not been beating those guys consistently, we're always competitive with these teams every single year. When we go play Ohio this past year, we held Ohio to their lowest point total of the whole year. Ohio University won the MAC championship last year. So again, I think that we have shown as a staff that we are able to, for one, acquire talent, but also to be able to maximize that talent when you get those guys within your program. And I think that's what good coaches do. But that's not to say, now again, I ain't hating. I don't think the guys that win championships because they have more or they're giving more, I don't think they care whether or not I say they're a good coach or not. I think they look at them rings and them trophies and they consider themselves good coaches, and I ain't mad at them for that.
But coach, I have this description that I give some coaches, and I call them trust fund coaches, meaning that they roll into situations that are already set up for success, right? And then there are other coaches that roll into situations that they fighting from the bottom up. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning that, and it seems that a lot of times coaches are generally all judged the same, but I'm glad that you brought up the nuance between not all jobs are equal, not all coaching opportunities are equal. So, coach, let me ask you this here, because I'm going to say this. 4 coaches have come on this show unemployed, and 4 of them currently are head coaches on Division I programs right now. I'm not saying that we had anything to do with it.
So you saying there's no correlation between the two?
I don't know. Coach Cole books the interviews. We ask the questions. That's how it works. So I don't know. But this is what I say, Coach. Do you have a preference of a coaching job when you go to it? Would you rather have a trust fund job, or would you rather build something from the ground up?
Oh, no, I don't have a preference. No, I'm not. My aunt, I was raised by my 2 grandmothers and my aunts. And my aunt would always tell me beggars can't be choosers. and that saying has stuck with me for my entire life. And I'm not saying I'm begging. I think I'm in a great situation. Like I said, I get to work for a guy that really believes in me, and I don't have to look over my shoulder every time we give up 30 points and think that my job is on the line. I get to I get to raise my son. I get to take my son to school and pick him up from school and take him to football practice and basketball practice pretty much every day. So I'm not running to a job. I think a lot of people are more disappointed than I am every offseason when they don't hear my name being mentioned as a finalist or a candidate for a job. I'm good. I believe that what God has for me is going to be. When my time comes, I do plan on making the most of my opportunity when my time does come, but I'm not in a situation where I'm going to say, hey, I want to have this job with these things in place, so on and so forth. Now, I'm smart enough and I have enough smart people around me where if I am presented with an opportunity or, the potential of an opportunity, I'm going to make sure that it is something where I feel as though I can have success. And I think that's important to say, because what some people consider a good job may not be a good job for you. If you talk about, certain things like regional ties and, alumni support and those kind of things, so different people need different things. Some people are able to go out and acquire all the things they need on their own. And some people need to have, kind of things laid out for them and already in place where they can come in and just, and just coach, per se, just do X's and O's and, run staff meetings and those kind of things, where you have some other people who just say, hey, just give me a job and I'll make the most of it. I believe I could be successful in either one of those situations, so I don't necessarily have a preference.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm educated, damn it. And I don't vision that somebody gives a CEO job away to somebody that don't know what they're doing. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. But I believe that good coaches have what you call a system, and a system way of doing it. And anywhere he go, he puts his system together and he tweaks it. I feel that Coach Frazier has a system. I think Coach Wilson has a system. I think Trey Oliver has a system. I think Chennis Berry has a systematic way that he does stuff. It just don't happen.
We learned that the hard way.
And years and years of studying. It ain't about whether I'm a good coach or not. Nick Saban, who I hate to compare us to those big time schools, he has a system. You can't tell me that Oregon don't have a better weight program and uniforms and shit, and University of Texas got more money than anybody in the fucking world for their program, Texas A&M, and Nick Saban beat these people year in and year out.
He had the best players, Coach. He had the best players. He had the best players.
Well,
let me be fair about it. Let me be fair.
That's from a pure, because when you look at the draft,
he developed the best players.
And that don't mean you got good players. I think that what Nick Saban and the difference between Nick Saban and the rest of the cats is he get them right here. And it's big in his system that he get his kids right here to sell them and make them understand that whether you catching 1,000 yards and 50 passes, but I'm gonna let you catch 500 yards and 20 passes, and you're gonna be playing at the end of the year. And I think they know how to. Good coaches, your Fraziers, your LCs, your Broadways, your Pete Richardsons, your Bill Hayeses, they got a way of a systematic way that they run their program that anywhere they go. Bill Hayes won in Winston-Salem. He won in North Carolina A&T. You know what I'm saying? Pete Richardson, again, won at Winston-Salem. He won in Southern. L.C. Cole won in Tennessee State, Alabama State. Rob Broadway won in North Carolina State. He won in Grambling. He won in North Carolina A&T. Same system. It's the systematic way of doing things. And Rocky, I'm going to take one out your book. You dug back and say, Cole, look at this swag. In the last 20 years, they got all new different coaches. All new different coaches. And not one of them today have won a championship.
Yeah, Coach.
Very wrong, Coach. Well, let me take that back. One of them had to win it because, somebody had to win.
You know, Coach Cole has got in a lot of hot water, Coach Sewell, because he mentioned
No way.
Yeah. Because he mentioned that a coach was the best of the worst, right? Now, I believe that Coach Cole didn't mean it to be disrespectful. He was just saying in the league where everyone's a first-year coach, right? And none of those schools beat the other division very much, that league or that division was just not very as competitive, you know? And there's some proving that needs to be done. But the coach took it personal. I'm going to ask you, Coach Sue, if you won a division as a first-year coach amongst all first-year coaches and you got blew out by the championship team twice,
and
how would you take?
One of them had a winning record besides you. Go ahead, Cole. I want to add that. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm not going to. First of all, let me just say this: I have no idea who the coach is. I don't know the league or anything. So whoever this coach is, I don't know who you are. So don't get mad at me. I'm just answering the question. First of all, me personally, again, and it may sound cliche. I don't care a lot what a lot of people think about me. So that's why, as I said before, to me, if you're a successful coach, I don't think you should be worried if people think you're a good coach or not. At the end of the day, you have tangible results that show that you had a successful season. If you have a trophy, if you have a ring, that says that you had a successful season. So if someone says something about you not being a good coach and you take offense to it, in my opinion, you're giving that person, like, you're proving that person right. You're showing them that you may have some type of insecurity within yourself to allow that to get to you. Because you can't be, and again, I love and respect Coach Cole as well, but you can't sit on a show and talk about me and me winning as a coach and me allow it to bother me. And that's just me personally. I would not allow that to bother me at all. Or I would simply say, hey, when you get back in the game, you come see me. And then we can see if I'm a good coach or not. When you and I line up against each other, when our teams line up against each other, we'll see if I'm a good coach or not. Until then, I'm gonna keep winning. But if I get into it where and now,
I like the way you talk, Coach. Yeah, like the way you talk.
Because now, as soon as I engage or I show any type of emotion or feelings about what you said or how you feel about me, now, like I've stripped away everything that I worked for to accomplish. Because at the end of the day, like you said, like it may be, I mean, I don't remember the exact scenario that you gave, but whatever the case may be, if I came out on top, ain't my fault. And I'm not ashamed to say this. I don't care if we got our head kicked in on Sunday. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. Been that way since I was a kid. Since they were the Redskins.
I feel sorry for you, Coach, but go ahead.
It's okay. And people will always say, well, one of y'all rings don't count because it was a strike year. So
I don't say that.
They played the games, didn't they? If the games were played, now if you say
and y'all beat our Cowboys with a strike team.
Yeah, you're right. And y'all had real players. See? So, but I say that to say, how can, if the games are played and the results are counted, I could care less looking back on what type of caveats and what stipulations you put on what we did. We played the people that were in front of us and we won. Now, if you want to call that the best, if you want to call it the best of the worst, the key word, I'm gonna stop listening after you say best.
let me say this in defense of myself is that I'm on a show that I am pushing African American guys, HBC, you guys as well. But to make the show legit, to me, is to tell the truth the way I see it. And it definitely was nothing personal. And I think in the content of what we were talking about of grading coaches and seeing where everybody were, speaking of that side, that side wasn't doing very well and haven't been doing very well. Then here come a guy comes in his first year, and win it. It says a lot about him. and it says a lot about the statement I made. Man, this side hadn't been doing well at all, and you come in and you win it. Unfortunately, don't be upset at me, be upset at them. Maybe they need to get off their butt and start winning some football games. So I think that it's my duty, not only, to be candid sometimes, when you're talking about, one of the things we talk about, Sewell, on here, and you can attest to this, that the PWIs, they beat the black schools all the time. Coach called them the whites and the blacks. So they my 40 years being around black colleges, I would hate to see the record. You know what I'm saying? It'd be lopsided. Now, am I putting down black coaches? You know what I mean? I'm just sitting here telling the truth and saying how it is and how it's been. You know what I mean? Are we getting better? Yes, we're getting better. Does that make them better than us? Not necessarily, no. Because then there's a lot of other things that goes into them having advantages over us. You know what I'm saying? Like money and funds and support. But I got to say it like it is. And me saying it like it is, not saying that Broadway's not a good coach. LC's not a good coach. Doug Williams not a good coach. Henry Frazier, I'm not saying that. Or Trey Oliver is not a good coach. When we make that statement. And Rocky, you make that statement all the time, right? Yeah. I never once take offense to that because it's true. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, Coach Sewell, it is what it is. I know what I'm doing. I know what's important to me. I don't get involved with what somebody say about me. I don't really, especially when it comes down.
One of the things that I, this is just kind of pivoting. One of the things that I thought was pretty remarkable for you guys, I want to say either the first or the second year you guys were there, Coach Sewell, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't y'all upset a CAA school or play them close or something like that when y'all got there? Shortly after y'all got there? I don't have
we beat University of Richmond. First game of the season.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like those kind of, to me, those kind of wins or benchmark wins for your program, in my opinion. Not because it's a white school, because of what the school has been in FCS football. I'll just put it like that. That same school would later beat North Carolina Central in the playoffs, wouldn't it?
Yep, they sure did.
Handedly.
Well, Coach, man,
that was. I think Central was battling them before Davies got hurt. And listen, I coached against that kid for 2 years. I think we all know the impact of him being injured, but you don't really understand until you see bro in person. That's what when you, and I use that term because when you playing against him, he do some stuff that make you be like, bruh, like, are you serious? Like you can have the perfect play call. I would never forget our first year, and I don't mean to get off topic, but
go ahead, Coach.
My first year down there, they beat us 59-20 my first year here. And we had scouted them, and we knew it was 100% when they got into this one formation, almost like, again, how the Commanders kept going forward on fourth down, and they were finding different ways to just run Jaden Daniels on fourth and short. You knew when Central got into this formation, they were going quarterback run. And so we overloaded the side. I'll never forget. We had 2 dudes free off the edge. Man, he shrugged one off, shook the other dude, and went 60 yards for a touchdown. And at that point, I knew before they played Jackson in the Celebration Bowl, I told all my friends and all my former teammates in the group chat, oh man, Jackson. I said, let me tell y'all something. I said, until y'all see this quarterback from North Carolina Central, y'all can don't place no bets. Don't say until you see this dude play, do not assume anything. Like, that kid is really, really special. So I say that to say, like, I don't think Richmond was 2-3 touchdowns better than Central if he plays the whole game.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, man, I know you got to get back to your kid. I know,
man,
it's
no, my man.
time. And is he sleep, Coach?
Yeah,
Coach, we don't have several of those also. Remember,
yeah.
Coach Keaton?
Yeah. He
Wait. Listen, this is Coach's Corner. Now, Coach, before I let you go, now hold on. Because like I said, hey, man, you stand on business out there on the social media. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm a big fan of you. Like I said, we have interacted. What is it going to take for you all to be MEAC champions next year?
He's setting you up, Coach.
Just being more consistent. Yeah, just honestly, just being more consistent. We had an opportunity. We had an opportunity in 23, the second year. If we beat Howard, we would have tied for the conference. We had an opportunity last year with South Carolina State coming into our place, where we controlled our own destiny to be tied for the conference again. And we have not met the challenge of those big games yet in conference. And that's something that I'm not a believer. And you know how you hear sometimes in coaching, people say, a team spends their whole offseason preparing to beat one team. I'm not a believer in that. I think the conference is going to be much better this year. Obviously, like I said, with the addition of Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, because I think that's going to naturally attract a different level of talent to those 2 universities. So I don't think we can go into it with the mindset of, hey, we got to beat Central. We had to beat everybody. In the MEAC, the schedule is so short, you can't afford to drop a game and think that you're gonna still have a chance. And I hate scoreboard watching. So I'm not gonna give you a coach's corner answer. I apologize for that, because again, I get called into the principal's office a lot. So I'm not gonna make a prediction. But in terms of what we need to do, we gotta be more consistent. We just started our off-season program. These first few days have been great. You can really tell that the buy-in is different. You got some younger guys who are ready to step up and assume some bigger roles. I think that we'll be better up front on both sides of the ball. I know we're much bigger up front on both sides of the ball, which I know goes a long way. For us as a coaching staff, we got to do a better job of building depth and quality depth. I think that last year, for me personally, we lost a lot of guys in the secondary, and I made the mistake of adjusting what our standard was from a secondary play standpoint, and we ended up being much below what we should have been in terms of quality and production in the secondary. So I say all that to say, if we are consistent in what we do and what our message is, and what we determine is our standard, I think that'll go a long way in terms of what our success is this season. I think we're gonna have a very, very talented team. I think we'll be talented in every area. I think that we have gotten to the point where we've acquired enough talent to say, hey, we're good at pretty much every position. Now it's about building depth and just being consistent and finding those guys that are going to be leaders and help carry us through some of those bigger games that we'll face.
Hey, Coach Sewell, I got a question for you, because this is something that's puzzled me since I've been watching FCS football, mainly the last 2 years, right? You would think that in the transfer portal, the guys coming down from FBS to FCS would have a greater impact than the guys coming from D2 to FCS. But in just my observation, that's not been the case. The guys coming from D2 to FCS has made a greater impact and a greater contribution than the guys coming down. The guys coming up from D2 have made a greater impact than the guys coming down. Am I looking at it wrong, or am I missing something in that assessment?
We actually have our operations / recruiting person, Gerald Huggins. I'm sure you guys probably familiar with Gerald. He does draft HBCU.
Yep.
He was doing that, kind of full time before he joined our staff recently. He actually did some in-depth studies on that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just from the naked eye, when you look at it, a lot of the guys that come from when you look at just the headlines, right? When the guys drop down from FBS to FCS, what do the headlines say? Former 3-star, former 4-star, former. When the guys are coming up from D2, what does it say? All CIAA player, all SIAC player. So you still talking production versus potential. So a lot of the D2 kids have played college football for 2 and 3 years already. Whereas though a lot of the FBS drop downs are guys that were practice players on that level, and you're hoping that when they come down a level that they'll be able to rekindle and recapture some of that glory and success that they had in high school or earlier in college. The unique thing and when you talk about going back to to Dion during his time at Jackson State, he had the cachet to be able to go and get guys that played at the FBS level to come to Jackson State. So he wasn't just banking on guys that, I hope this kid can be something. He was going to get guys that actually had snaps on that level, and you can pop in game film with them playing on that level. Coach Simmons was able to do similar during his time at FAMU. What I think a lot of us have tried to do unsuccessfully is we're going to get guys based on a name and based on a high school rating, and hoping that's going to translate. Well, for one, from a skill player standpoint, ain't much difference between FBS and FCS. You may have a guy that's 6'1" versus 5'11", but his ability ain't much higher. His level of ability ain't much higher than his counterpart at the FCS level. The O-line is where it can get, but if you look at, again, I hate to use the word, the market for transfers, any O-lineman that played that going to transfer portal are going up. So when we're getting O-linemen that are dropping down to us from the FBS level, they're still projects. And you still have to coach and develop those guys. But a lot of times the D2 guys are coming in, for one, they have a chip on their shoulder. Whereas though the FBS drop down guys, sometimes they kind of look down at their nose at some of the guys when they come into the room, because in their mind, well, you came to Morgan out of high school, I went to Maryland out of high school. It's so you kind of have that sense of entitlement versus a guy that's coming in with a chip on his shoulder that's ready to grind. But to me, the simple answer is you're getting guys that have produced on the college level already versus a guy who has the potential to be something on the college level.
So in other words, you're saying the D2 guy's coming with a resume.
Yes, sir.
And that resume oftentimes is more of an indication than some projection that guy had maybe at coming out of high school or something like that. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. And it's similar to what Coach Cole said. Coach Cole summed it up is the guy on D2 is just hungrier. He just got more on the line than the guy coming down. And and that's simple. But I see it because it doesn't matter from the D2 guy. Sometimes the D2 guy has measurables. Sometimes the D2 guy is much smaller, but one that's been consistent is the production has been consistent with those guys coming up. Especially in the case of who you're familiar with probably is South Carolina State bringing those guys up and those guys being productive at that level.
I'll say this, and I kind of felt that's why you were asking. To me, the biggest thing, and it's not to take away from any of those guys, like some of those guys were really talented, but to me, the biggest thing, man, is you could clearly see even from watching them from the time they got off the bus to warm-ups and everything, they basically took their culture and moved it from Benedict to South Carolina State. It wasn't necessarily, in my opinion, it wasn't necessarily that they were the most talented team in our conference. I think North Carolina Central was probably still the most talented team that we played in conference all year. But you could tell that, like, we came out the very first drive. I want to say we got 3-and-out against South Carolina State on the first drive. And you look and you could tell, like, it didn't, their confidence, their swagger, whatever you want to call it, it didn't waver at all. And you never saw any type of division or anything amongst those guys. You could tell they looked like a team that had been together for multiple years, which when you look at the core of that team, a lot of those guys had been. And that makes it much easier when you're coming in trying to sell kids on something when you have other kids in the room who are also selling and pushing that same message. So now as a coach, I say something one time, and the next time that happens, one of my kids is stepping up saying the same thing because they already believe in what I'm selling.
Oh, that makes sense, Coach. Coach, you got anything before we let Coach Sewell?
Oh man, you've developed into the guy, into the man, into the coach that I thought you would. From the first time I met you, I know it wasn't on. Well, it was a good time because we was about to face each other for 60 minutes. So I write it off and charge it to your head and not your heart. But you are the guy that I thought you would be. Hopefully, man, this show and you keep doing the work that you're doing. We'll be bringing you on or showing up at your spring game one day. I look forward to that day to come. Keep working hard, and I appreciate your time and appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys as well, man. And like I said, anytime as Mr. Campbell stated so eloquently earlier, I'm not a man who misses words. So if y'all want me to come back on a show anytime, I'm always down to talk ball and whether it's X's and O's or whether it's culture, whatever it is, man. This is what I do. Football is something I'm very passionate about, and especially HBCU football. And I love the fact that we have so many different platforms to kind of talk about what we do. Talk about what we do and really kind of give people some insight onto the things that we do. So like I said, anytime I'm free. I see my boy Coach Ryland from Virginia Union just chimed in. Anytime I'm able to, like I said, come in and join you guys and just, chop it up with you, man. It's been more than a pleasure, and I look forward to hopefully doing it again in the future.
Yeah, and I still want to bring coaches on, Coach Sewell. So if some guys are interested, man, it just opens up my Rolodex as well. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And that's because we don't have a platform. We don't have one where we can come out and people can see who Coach Sewell and how he thinks, how he feel, what direction he wants to go. So I think it's important, man. And I ain't gonna be right all the time, Coach. But again, man, I appreciate your time and effort. It look like you got another little coach coming up there. So
yes.
see, Rocky, we got to make room for him, man.
Oh
yeah.
I see nepotism ain't dead. So
no doubt. Hey, listen, and when they say you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we got to get him in the NFL then, Coach.
Yes, indeed. That's the plan. And well, you know what? He might be NBA. He a little hoop star right now. So whatever it is, I'm just anything he want to try. We just gonna throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Hey, Coach, we'll accept him at FAMU because I know you love FAMU so much. So we'll bring him down to FAMU, okay?
You know what?
Hey man, I know you love FAMU so much.
Hey,
I ain't got no beef with FAMU. I'm just I ride for my people, man. I love FAMU. I would really love, an opportunity to. That's the one thing I was looking forward to when I took the Alabama State job is, getting to go up against my guy Willie Simmons and getting to face Coach Prime and those kind of guys. But I said God saw fit for me to be back here and be closer to my son. So maybe one day we'll meet up and I'll allow you guys to feed me good at your tailgate even after we beat y'all.
We'll definitely, hey, Coach, we'll talk about it on Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach.
All right. That was a good one. That was a good one, Coach. Coach, you know him, Coach. If they worked anything, you know him, Coach. Hey, before we get out of here, I want y'all to look at this here. Campbell set this up for us today, and I wanted to tell me what you think about old Alcorn States. And I did say Alcorn State, Alcorn, no husk. Because that's what they say. I don't know what that means, but that's what they say.
They opening up with a rebuild the Western State. They got Alabama A&M is non-league. Oh, okay, that's right, because they're on the other side. That'll be a test for Sam Shea. Mississippi State is the money game. Arkansas Pine Bluff, man, he should be able to get Pine Bluff. Prairie View is going to be a big test for Tremaine because Tremaine about has some games up under him, and we're going to really see how good, Coach Jackson has done with that program. That's going to be I think that's the test right there, Coach. Of course, Lincoln to California, that's the cakewalk.
They're on their homecoming tour.
Yeah. They'd have been on play 3 homecomings by then.
Hey, they get to see every homecoming in the SWAC, don't they?
Right. Florida A&M, that's a big one. Valley State, Coach, he could be, let me see, out of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Sheesh. Northwestern, I can give him. A&M, he should beat, right? New coach, second game of the year.
I don't understand why that. I don't want to bog this down because I do want to. Because it's before we get off, we got to talk about Coach Buckley and a couple other things. But I don't understand why they made that out of scheduling. Why Alabama? That's not even a traditional rival for them. So I don't understand why that game. Out of all the teams,
Alcorn and A&M.
Yeah, I don't understand that game. I don't understand that game. And to me, it's like. I would have tried to reach out to a Tennessee. I mean, if I'm going to do that, I would have tried to reach out to a Tennessee State. See if I could play that game in Memphis. To me, that's just when I saw that, that's the one that stuck out to me the most. And also that back end, they're playing basically all their rivals: Southern, Grambling, Jackson State. So that is going to be interesting on that back. And then they come to FAMU in 10-18, and we haven't played Alcorn, I think, since 1981. Or something like that. So I'm super excited for them to come to Tallahassee and and see the Braves come to Tallahassee.
Well, all them the counters. You got Pine Bluff, Prairie View, Florida A&M, Valley, Texas Southern, Grambling, Jackson State. Yeah, they got to get ready to play, Coach.
Potentially they may not win a game in November.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. They could listen. That thing starting at FAMU all the way down could get ugly.
Alcorn is a team to beat over in the West.
No,
he had his first year. Let's give him his first year. Let's give him his flowers. He was on his honeymoon, and maybe he'll come back strong. But we can't solve it tonight, though.
No, they gotta play the game. So
anybody calling, coach?
No. We'll take 3. We'll take 3. I'll paste it up and we'll take 3.
Yeah, Rocky got to get his birthday dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
No, you good.
But Coach, let's talk about this before you get off, because it's important. We got Terrell Buckley, NFL player, college All-American, Florida State, came out to Dion, basically took that primetime persona from there, kept it going. What do you think? And somebody who actually has coached, has paid his dues as a coach on several levels.
Not at the HBCU level.
Not at the HBCU level, because this is very important. I want to say who has coached professionally, has coached. What do you think about the coaching
in Mississippi?
Hire? Yep. What do you think about the coaching hire of Terrell Buckley at Mississippi Valley?
He was he's a head coach in the XFL.
Yep.
And he didn't do well his first year, and it was the first year that he was having the league. So you really can't. And in that league in the XFL, you were able to go out and find your players. Did y'all know that?
Yeah,
I did. The coaches and the coordinators that they were able to travel around the country and find their players.
They were the scouting department as well.
Right. Matter of fact, I went to one when it was in Arizona. All the teams came out here to Arizona, and they worked the players out. So they were having these tryouts all over the country. And so him and the coordinator was able to choose the players. And unfortunately, they didn't do well at all. But, I mean, I think it was, it's a good choice for what they can pay and who he is. And I think you get both sides of it. You get the celebrity, Terrell Buckley, former NFL player. You also get a guy that's been a head coach and some experience. So, I'll give the hire a B.
Okay.
The only reason why I don't want to give it to A, because it's nowhere in his resume that he's shown that he's came to a perennial losing program and been able to turn around. He doesn't show in his resume that he's a turnaround agent, which he might be. I don't know.
Well, Rocky, it tickles me because, I always know when Scotty's level of depth of age, because I knew he didn't know who Terrell Buckley was, because he's it always tickles me. He did an excellent interview. Shout out to Scotty with the excellent interview with T-Buck, but I could tell he didn't know who T-Buck was. So a person like me who watched them play, come to Florida State, saw him have those great battles with Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice. I mean, and those were battles with the Green Bay Packers and things. And
he meant something to the culture, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, I'm happy for T-Buck, man. I know, I met T-Buck when he was at Florida State. I used to see him, when he was in the NFL and things like that. We're not friends or anything like that, but
is he your contemporary?
Yeah, he came. T-Buck is a year younger than me. He played with Shane Matthews. They had a bomb squad my senior year down in Pascagoula. They were ranked in the USA top 25. They had a bomb squad. So there was a whole bunch of guys that went D1 off that squad. And he came over to Florida State. And what was so funny, I had a black sport pickup truck. And he said, "Hey, man, you from Mississippi, man? I ain't seen you, man." I said, "Yeah, bro." I said, "I've been here for a year." I said, where you going?" He said, "I'm coming to Florida State." I said, "Okay." So, man, then that boy came out to start returning them punts. And then that was it, man. So we see each other, in Tallahassee all the time, so, holler, that Mississippi pride will come out and stuff like, man. So, super excited to see what he does at Valley. And the thing about it, Coach, I think you said it best. He's giving them a little bit of that celebrity, but also he does have the coaching background and being from Mississippi, because not being funny, he's going to need to know how to recruit those players out of Mississippi to get them up the Valley. So that Gulf Coast got a lot, Moss Point, Pascagoula, Gulfport, Biloxi, a lot of football players down that area. A lot of football players.
Yeah. All right, keep it fam. Hey, keep it up, fam. Let's keep it short. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. With that being said, let's just say that this isn't a celebrity hire, because a celebrity hire is anybody from past generations to current generations who would know who the current coach is. So that would determine a celebrity hire. Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson are celebrity hires because the older generation know who they are and the newer generation know who they are. That being said, I'm gonna keep it short. People underestimate the value of determination when it comes to Black people and what will motivate them to get behind something. HBCUs versus casuals. We had this conversation. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it at this and I'm going to end it here. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis as head coaches will motivate and galvanize more people when it comes to donation giving and fulfillment of purpose when it comes to building facilities and etc. versus any coach that they hire at HBCU levels that were from D2s. Any one of those two that I just named, and I'm gonna leave it at that, will have more people behind them versus anybody that they choose to hire. And I'm gonna lay my plan right there.
All right, thank keep it up, fam.
Hey, Rock, I gotta say, one thing I like about that brother right there, he's on that payroll, man. He is on that payroll. And listen, so to Ed Reed and to Ray Lewis, give that brother a jersey. Because that brother has gone on very platforms, got his head knocked for his views, but he keep coming back. I like that. I keep coming back. Now, nobody's going to hire him. Keep it up, fam. Nobody's going to hire him. So I'm just going to let you know. Nobody's going to hire Ray Lewis because they have too much money and Ed Reed. I don't know. But you know what, though? I'm going to say this. I think Ed's going to get hired in the next 3 years. I believe somebody's going to hire him in the next 3 years. I think that'll be enough dust settled, and I think there's going to be somebody desperate enough to make the move.
So,
and he plays capital, so somebody's going to hook him up, coach.
I'm going to hook him up. What's up, brother?
Now,
what's up, bro?
One thing I'll say, though, about what Keepy Fam is saying, because and I'd like to really talk.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
So whoever know Ed.
Oh, Ed cut him off.
Yeah,
Ed Reed need to come on this show and get himself cleaned up. He really need to give another chance of talking to the public. You know what I mean? Of who Ed Reed is, because what he displayed back then, you know, it was tough. He was in a bad situation. He said a lot of off-script things that wasn't professional. And I think it was just a bad, sometimes I've been in bad times in my life sometimes. And I've done and said some things that I regret. And I'm pretty sure that after now that he's really set back and seeing those things, then if you guys are really loving Ed Reed, you have Ed Reed give us a call. Give me a call. We'll have him on the show and we're going to talk and give him the hard questions. Because one thing about our show, Coach, we put people in the seats now.
Coach, you know what? I'm Phil Buchanan's mind. I'm gonna text Phil. I'm gonna get it. You know what? I'm gonna get Ed Reed on this show in the next 30 days. I know a lot of people. I'm gonna text Phil Buchanan right. I'm gonna get Ed Reed's number because Andy's here in Atlanta. I'm gonna track him down, Coach. Because if I can, trust me, I know I track folks down.
Till we talk football on here.
Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna get him on here. I'm gonna get him on.
Well, I think Ed Reed. See, I think Ed Reed's appeal is bigger than is wider than an HBCU. So if he can rehab his image, I think many opportunities are gonna open up to him. But what he, like you said, Coach, what he displayed at Bethune-Cookman, though, I don't know if it was justified or warranted, but it definitely didn't.
Coach, it wasn't. Hell, I said it wasn't. And he need to.
But if they Coach, if they lied to him, whatever, and misrepresented what they were offering him, Coach, I believe somebody in their organization owes him an apology. But Coach, I don't think
he wasn't given a chance. He didn't give them a chance because it was so early. And to my understanding, they hadn't even named him head coach, and he was out there. I get it. He was out there ahead of the gun. But it's business too. You know what I mean? It's about business. You know what I mean? He was ahead of the game. Like, man, I'm into this. Man, forget the contract. I got money. We get to that later. You know what I'm saying?
Rocky, I'm gonna tell you this. Let me be honest with you. I talked to a lot of people down there. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing, if Ed Reed had just taught professional and not use all that language, Ed Reed would have had no problem. If Ed Reed said, hey, man, we got a lot of work to do out here. Let me show you what we're going to do. Hey, man, we're going to clean up this locker room. We're going to clean up this. I got my boys from Baltimore. If Ed Reed had said that, wouldn't have been no problem. But you cannot, and I don't care what nobody says, and everybody knows that you can't use that type of language.
Yeah, he was mother flipping.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And that's what hurt him. So,
about your boss.
Yeah. So if he hadn't used that language, Ed would have been fine. So that's what hurt him. And nobody's going to be able to use that type of language in no job.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let nobody down, no HBCU. I'm here today because of HBCU school. And I'm not going to never let nobody come here or talk about HBCU like they don't have problems at other schools. Everybody got issues at PWIs in any kind of way. But it's a way that you got to handle yourself and respect. And that's the thing that messes a lot of people up when they come on our level. They come in with being disrespectful. And they forget about that we're giving them the platform. And I'll say this to Deion Sanders, and I've always said it. If there's no Jackson State, there's no coach coach Deion Sanders to show that what you can do. Jackson State gave him that platform to do that. And he took it from there. And I'll always stand on that. So that's my take on it.
Hey, Coach, I did a horrible job last week when you got cut off wrapping the show up, Coach. So I got all kind of calls and texts about tying a knot and holding on tight and all that kind of stuff. So, Coach, you got to take us out. You got anything, Cam, before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, I do have one thing. I put this background on. These are the Freedom Riders that got arrested in Jackson, Mississippi.
Hold on. I took.
Yeah, in 1961. And the reason why I put this up, because the times we got now, we got a lot of people talking about, should we sit back? Should we boycott? Should we just let things play out? These people didn't wait. These people didn't sit back. These people were all mostly college students that stood up for now where you guys can go wherever you want, get on those nice planes and trains and automobiles. So I put that up because I hear a lot of people that want to sit back. This ain't the time to sit back. So for all my young people, research who the Freedom Riders were. There's John Lewis right there in that corner. Research, and these people, like I said, he went to jail. So you all can do all that foolishness you do on social media. All those things that you do is because these people right here. So that's the reason why. So it's time for us to now stand up once again, because as you know, HBCUs are about to get hit. That funding that they froze for a hot second, you know who they affected the most? HBCUs. Do you realize that Benedict College gets they got $95 million, 65 million of that comes from federal funds? So you guys better understand what's going on. Now, I'm not talking about who you voted for, whatever. That person is in, but you better start taking care of your own and understand that these people that are behind me did it for you, so you can do it too. That's all I got, Coach.
Wow, man. Hey, look, Coach, I like to piggyback on that. And I've been thinking about all this going on and all the immigrants, again, being picked up and taking a place. So I want to give it to people in layman terms that when you pull up all these immigrants in the United States that does all the dirty work, clean the toilets, clean the streets, all right? And give you an example. And let's say they go to a field and pick over 50 or 500 baskets, of broccoli. And now you don't have them no more. So now that field, instead of having 500 baskets of broccoli, now is down to 100 baskets of broccoli. And then we're talking about, the eggs are high and groceries are high. Well, now you don't have these people out there to pick that kind of stuff. So guess what happens? Do your grocery go down or does the bill go up? That's why this immigration deal is going to hurt the United States and going to hurt all of our pockets. And as Coach spoke so lovely again about financial aid at HBCU schools, 80% of the students that go to HBCU schools use federal financial aid. most of these guys, I got a friend that's a CEO of a nonprofit organization that he handles K through 12. Is going to hurt that K through 12. And I'm not saying that there's black people, there's all kind of people who's going to need this federal. But I'm saying this to say that you can choose who you want as president, but this is what happens when you don't vote, or you do vote and end up voting for the wrong candidate that you don't understand. So understand what's happening in America. Hold on tight. Make sure that that you understand that what's going on around you. But one thing about it, man, in the morning, the good Lord said the sun is going to shine in the morning. So if you feel yourself at the end of the road, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you. Thank you for watching the show.